We have with us Claudiu Popa, certified security and privacy expert and author of the Canadian Cyber Fraud Handbook. Claudia, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
This is pretty unbelievable. It seems as if it's straight out of a movie, isn't it? Where the entire world, from the Americas to Europe to Asia, everybody is affected by this outage. What are your thoughts on this rather chaotic Friday morning?
That's right. I'm normally at my Toronto office, but I'm in Europe today. I'm in Paris, and I find that this outage is impacting the entire planet, and it seems exactly as what it sounds. It's a perfect storm. Now, it's not just a perfect storm that's caused by one outage. It's a couple of different outages, and they just happen to converge at the same time and to impact some of the largest organizations and even governments around the world.
So let's talk about this outage a little more. What exactly is the problem here? Because it also exposes the fragility of our digitized world and also the dependability that we have today on such few providers. Talk to us about all of that.
Okay, so taking it from the top, we're looking at a triple outage. So the first thing that happened was that Microsoft's cloud, which is called Azure, had an interruption, an outage that's related and that impacted its Microsoft 365. And so a lot of people around the world have come into the offices this morning and seen the blue screen of death. We've seen a ton of reports that Microsoft platforms are failing. That failure was caused by the inability of Windows machines to restart after a faulty anti-malware tool, which is, of course, Crowdstrike, which has seen that their brand has suffered as a result of a faulty software update. And of course, we're told to always apply security updates. So many organizations around the world automatically applied this to tens of thousands, to hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of computers around the world that were crippled by their inability to restart. And so that blue screen of death occurred as a result of that faulty update. And third, it's the supply chain. The supply chain means that even organizations that are not using Microsoft's cloud, Microsoft 365, or CrowdStrike's threat detection platform are still vulnerable to their suppliers, then their partners and their vendors that have been taken down and have felt a massive outage, and they've taken down the supply chain with them. So that's why it's such a big event happening today and a perfect storm.
Yeah, it's been hours. We're seeing the cascading effects on several businesses across the world, whether it's airports, hospitals, financial institutions. But I have to ask you, Claudiu, while they're trying to fix the problem, how vulnerable are these systems in a situation like that when there is an outage? I mean, there are those who can take advantage of this situation, can they? And what can be done to avoid this?
Absolutely. So what you're seeing today is a cascading outage. You're seeing the organization CrowdStrike. You're seeing Microsoft recommends, they both recommend the application of a fix. So now this fix is not as easy as pressing a key and allowing it to update. They have to go to each of perhaps many tens of thousands. In many cases, organizations have tens of thousands of Windows machines that have to individually be fixed. During that time, we are told to remove a piece of security software from those systems. And of course, that opens up security vulnerabilities. It also clearly illustrates that when you have that kind of cascading attack, you have this massive window of time where potentially bad actors can find ways to attack systems and expect to not be detected. And that's why this threat detection failure can impact the entire world. And of course, malware that can install itself during this window has an opportunity to cover its tracks and perhaps remain undetectable even after this this outage
Right.
is resolved, which is, by the way, expected to take a few days.
A few days. Well, it all sounds extremely complicated, and I'm glad you can, make sense of it and break it all down for our viewers, including me. Claudiu Popa, certified security and privacy expert and the author of the Canadian Cyber Fraud Handbook. Thank you for your expertise.
My pleasure.